So first thing first, I want you to understand what AI is and what AI is not. Okay, that's really, really important. There's a whole lot of stuff going around about what it is, right? So let's break it down. It's a computer software program. Does anybody not understand that? Okay, let's go even further. It's an algorithm that predicts what you're going to type. It's like autocomplete on steroids. That's the best way to put it, honestly. Anybody have any idea, a little pop quiz, when AI was invented? That's the difference. And it's not that the AI has changed so much. What has happened is we've pulled back the curtain and we've become the wizard, right? So instead of people telling you have to have a degree in coding, in Python, in this or that in order to use this, they've made it so you don't have to have a degree. All you have to do is be able to have a conversation. Okay? The best way to use AI effectively is to treat it as a partner. It's a tool. Okay? I did not mean to do that. Let's see here. There we go. Alright. Like I said, it is the super Mac Daddy of autocomplete. Okay? I mean, that's really what it is. Because what the language does, Python, whatever code they're using, if they're using R or Python or some other language, they're creating algorithms that predict what you're about to type. Okay, so when you pull out your cell phone, and you say, I am going to, it's going to give you options of what it thinks you're going to say next, right? Home, school, whatever, and that's based on two things. It's based on what it knows about your usage habits and what the most common next thing is. This is why when you go to Google and type in Abraham, there's a very good chance that Lincoln is going to be the very next suggestion you see. Okay? It's all based on patterns of predictability. Does that sound scary to anybody? Okay. It's not magic. It's not voodoo. It's not a human brain. It's not a robot army. And it's not a system that's going to destroy us as a society. Okay? Let's just remove all the misconceptions. It's none of those things. How can it be? When it boils right down to it, it's X's and O's, ones and zeros. It's a binary language that checks for patterns and recognition. Okay? How can that take over anything? Right? I want to make sure that y'all understand what it is, okay? Because I know everybody in this whole room has probably heard something different. I have a 22-year-old niece who texted me a week or so ago going, so is AI a computer?
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's a computer software program. She said, so is that something you have to buy and add on to your computer? Like a monitor or a keyboard or something? I said, no. It's something you can access for free on the internet. She was really, really confused. So if this is my niece who lives in the same house with me, by the way, asking these kind of questions and having this lack of knowledge about AI, I figure everybody in this room probably has some kind of fear, right? About AI. Anybody? It's okay. I wanted to share it. Yes.
Well, see, one fear is how much water AI uses. It's really not good for the environment. And now they're putting two data centers down here in Mississippi and turning our resources. And our bills of people, if they keep using them, we're not going to have everything down here. And then everybody wants to move, but see, the problem is we're moving level resources into spots, everybody finding jobs. Now you got 2 million people moving all over the country, which is way more expensive than here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're not gonna be used to that.
That's a very, very valid fear. I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna respond to that. Does anybody else have any fears?
I just know what she said is the data centers, as well as causing a lot of water pollution, causing a lot of air pollution. They put out a lot of stuff into the ecosystem that's really bad. And you see with the data center up in Memphis, the health effects, like how much it affects the people in Memphis.
It was the air quality last year, that's the.
Yeah. Data center now.
Yeah.
It was the air quality control, like they were like, don't look at houses you don't need to.
Exactly.
Right. Anybody else have any fears or concerns?
I mean, the obvious fear didn't take over, but like,
People just using it for the wrong reason.
Hey, let me tell you, I was a big Battlestar Galactica fan. I don't know if that's too old for y'all. That's a whole series about cyclones that take over based on this. It came out about 10 years before this technology did that. And it seems like to me, especially my generation as a Gen Xer, we're always trying to duplicate the technology that we grew up with, right? I mean, if my generation had it their way, we'd all be living in the Jetsons universe right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where we kind of go for. I want to talk about the data centers, and I want to talk about the water usage and all of that. The factory that they bought in Memphis was already there, okay? It already had the cooling systems in place. So when he bought that to be a data center, he didn't have to go in and change anything, okay? The results that we're getting were the same results that came from the previous owner of the building, unfortunately, right? The building itself needs upgrades, okay? That is definitely a concern of data centers, though, okay? But I want y'all to think about it like this. We have an entire region of our state called the Delta, okay? Some of us have been there and spent a lot of time. Some of us have relatives there. Is that area farmed the way it used to be? No, because that land is depleted. What's it good for? If we can't farm that land, what could we use it for that would improve the state? I want y'all to think about that, okay? The water that they're going to be using to cool most of these data centers that are coming into the state are coming from the Mississippi River. Is that potable water? Is that drinking water?
No.
It's barely fishy water because it's already so polluted because the Mississippi River runs from Minnesota down to us. And there are factories and companies dumping stuff into that river, states above us, and watching it trickle down, okay? Is an AI center that's using that water going to be a detriment to the drinking water of Mississippi?
Yes.
How? Who said that? How is it going to be a detriment to the drinking water?
Because of the chemicals in there.
Yeah, you've got ground seed. I do understand what you're saying with there. I think that's already in the water though, right? I mean, again, the Mississippi River is not exactly potable water. It's barely able to be fished because it is as contaminated as it is, right? How many of us would go swimming in that river? Raise your hand. You know, let's be realistic about what we're talking about. You know, and I'll get to you in just a second. I'm playing a little bit of a devil's advocate with you guys, okay? Because you hear something on television and you can't just accept it. You really have to learn to think critically, okay? And if you listen to what most people say about AI, they say it's going to take away your ability to think critically, okay? And just by accepting what you hear from anybody is not thinking critically. Okay? That's not really stopping to examine what kind of impact this is really honestly going to have on people in the Delta. You know, Hernando's a different situation, right? Because they're using an existing platform to power a data center, and they don't have enough power. So they've gone in and put all these turbines in, right? 38, I think, of them. I don't know if anybody around here is in the energy business or really understands. Turbines are not an effective way to create energy over the long term. What they're going to eventually do is build a nuclear power plant. Okay? And the thing is, we either let them do this in our state, or they go to some third world country and buy that country to take all of their power and ship it back to the US. And these companies are already doing that. I'm not trying to scare you guys, okay? I want you to think about what is being done, what you're hearing, and what are realistic applications, fears, and concerns, okay? I think that's really, really important. You know, you have to understand, this is new technology, right? And with new technology comes a lot of fears. Now, most of y'all were born into a world where cell phones existed. I was not, okay? I worked at the TV station in Atlanta. I was standing there when we flipped from analog to HD broadcasting. We were the very first TV station in the United States to broadcast in HD. That's how old I am. I've seen it. I've seen our progression from analog to digital, and I've seen the effects that unchecked this has on our society, which is why I advocate for AI training, understanding, and use, okay? Now, you already see AI everywhere, okay? It's in your TikTok, it's in your Spotify, it's in your Amazon, it's on every social media app you use, okay? It's in your car. When you're using your map navigation, you get from one location to another, okay? It's showing up in your ads all over the internet. How does it know? I was just talking about with my friends 3 minutes ago. Why am I seeing an ad for that now on Instagram, right? Because AI is monitoring you, and it has been doing it for years, okay? The difference is again, we have control now. Instead of just the people who we feel like are smart enough to have control, the people that program it, right? But now they're saying, hey, it doesn't matter. Everybody can use it, okay? And in order for that to happen, we have to use it in ways that magnify your thinking instead of reducing it, okay? That's the important thing. I am an advocate for the human use of AI, meaning you can never remove the human from the AI. Autonomous systems controlled by the government to fire weapons, no, never should happen, okay? I have a framework called DARES, and this is what I explain to people. This will be published in a book later this year, and it's discernment, aptitude, resourcefulness, ethics, and symbiosis. Okay, and we're going to go through these just really, really quick. Okay, discernment is where your critical thinking comes in. Okay, and there's a difference between what you learn as critical thinking in a school versus discernment. And the reason I chose the word discernment instead of critical thinking is because discernment adds human context, where critical thinking does not. Okay? And that human context is so important. We have to control this technology so it does not control us as a society. Okay? So you should always ask, does this answer make sense? And is this information reliable? That's being smart. Don't accept everything AI tells you, okay? Because it could be wrong. That's what we call AI hallucinations. Whoever programmed AI came up with the brilliant idea that if they don't know an answer, they'll make something up. That was their fallback. Instead of saying, we don't know, they wrote in code to make up answers. There's not a lot about AI that I find stupid, but this is definitely one of the areas that I find stupid. You know, the fact that it will lie to you, and it will tell you it's telling you the truth. Okay? So you have to know that AI makes mistakes. And that if it doesn't know the answer, it's going to make up an answer. Okay? And, you know, this is important because most people throw something in the AI, let it spit something back out. And then the next thing you know, they're passing along misinformation. Now, if you're a teacher, you're probably going to flag this, right? But as a student, you're not learning anything. You know, and that's important. The other thing is interaction and verification. You should always check your results, okay? And there are places that you can go. I don't know if I told y'all this. I'm a librarian. I did that in between TV and AI. I went and got a library degree. So I'm a librarian. I'm very, very big on doing research. But the other thing I'm very, very big on is what we call verified primary sources. Have any of y'all ever heard anything like that term? Okay. So a verified primary source is the originating source for a fact. Okay? A lot of times these are considered statistics, and they come from things like government websites. Okay? Other times they may be things like a dictionary that gives a definition, right? Or an encyclopedia that gives you an article. Or it's going to be somebody who is an expert in that field who wrote a paper or a book about it. These are what we call verified sources. You can find these online by asking for verified sources. And then when your AI gives you a whole big list, they're going to all be clickable. And it is your responsibility to use AI smartly and click every single link, even if it's 100. And make sure they're all real. Okay? The next thing is the aptitude for AI. And what this means is you have to know what an AI tool can do. Okay? So when you're using ChatGPT or Grok or whatever your favorite one is, the next time you open it up, ask it 3 things. Okay? Ask it, what can you do for me? What can you not do for me? And what are the ways you can give me this information? Okay? You need to understand the program in order to know how to use it. And it will give you help. It will give you hints and tips on how to use it. Okay? So that's the aptitude of knowing. And then we have resourcefulness, okay? You can use AI for things like studying, organizing projects, brainstorming, that's one of my favorite things to do with it, and learning skills. Did y'all know y'all could do all that? I think that's pretty cool. I take advantage of it all the time. The next thing is ethics. And I'm going to just kind of go through these, and then we're going to get to some actual demonstrations, okay? So you want to use AI responsibly, and you want to make sure that you're being ethical about it. Y'all know what ethics are, right? Everybody in here have a clear understanding? Raise your hand if you don't. I'll be happy to let you know. It's what we base our morals on, right? So it's what you do when nobody's looking, right? Who you are as a person, what your character is based off, that's your ethics, that's your morals. And hopefully they're going to always be pointing to something that is beneficial towards you and society as a whole. Alright? Alright, symbiosis. This is what we provide versus what AI provides, and we can't lose that connection, okay? we do have cost to using AI. I mean, it's fair to be concerned about it, right? Who's got a 20-ounce bottle? You got a couple of ounces of water bottles over there, right? Google will tell you that every time you ask 20 questions on Gemini, you used a 20-ounce bottle of water. You know, that was what they first said. Then they came back in December of last year and said, hey, we weren't exactly truthful with you guys about that. It's more like gallons instead of ounces. Yeah, it uses a lot of water to cool the computer systems, right? Does anybody have any idea how many cloud computing servers there are across this country? We all rely on it. How many of y'all have an Apple phone, iOS? Everything goes to your cloud, right? Probably if you're on an Android, you're uploading everything to your cloud, right? They're the same thing as data centers, guys. They're large computer systems that are chained together to work as one that are using our resources. Power, water. Where's the uprising against cloud computing? Because I hear it all the time about AI. We let this computer technology come in and nobody blinked an eye. Texas is full of them. I've got one over in Akron. There's a call center over there that can also function as a data center. How crazy is that in Choctaw County, Mississippi? There's a cost for doing business, no matter what industry it is. Okay? Computers, from the beginning, there has been a cost. And it's been our resources. I believe, personally, that we are here to be stewards of this planet. I think this is something we should definitely take into account. It's something we should care about. But who's going to be the people that make a change and make a difference? You know, because this is all being controlled by policymakers right now. And there aren't people like us, everyday people, that are sitting in a room learning about this, that are doing anything. I just released a report 2 weeks ago. We have less than 1% AI adoption in the state of Mississippi. And the ones that are using it are the ones that are coming through our universities and our government offices and the 1 or 2 businesses around the state that have said, we're going to embrace this. We're the last in the nation again. But we're number 3 in the nation in AI infrastructure. Okay? Y'all, we built everything we need to bring in data centers, to bring in jobs, to bring in the ability to teach everybody in this state how to use AI. You know, but we have to be smart about what we're opposed to and what we're not opposed to. And that's all I'm going to challenge y'all to think about that, okay? Because it's like, where do we stop? Where do we go, right? I can get very, very long in detail on that, and I'm going to try not. Let's do a live demonstration. How does that sound? Yep, does that sound like fun? Okay. I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to open up, and we'll just go to Claude. I think they'll let us work without a free one, without signing in. So this is Claude. This is created by a company called Anthropic. The guy that owns Anthropic used to work with Sam Altman, the guy that owns OpenAI, who created ChatGPT. It's kind of like Steve Jobs and what's his name? Kind of Microsoft versus iOS. You've got Anthropic versus OpenAI. So what we're going to ask, let me ask you a question. What's your hardest class that you're taking this semester?
Chemistry. Or chemistry.
Chemistry? All right, I'm gonna set this down for a second. Are you in 12th grade? 12th grade chemistry? Sophomore?
12th grade.
Okay, I'm just gonna say chemistry. And I'm gonna put 10th to 12th grade. Okay. So what I've done is I've typed in, I need you to tutor me in chemistry. And then I put a comma and put 10 to 12th grade. And I'm gonna hit enter. And the AI is gonna start working. Okay. Oh, it does want me to create an account. All right. I guess we can sign up for one real quick. Why not? We'll continue. I'm going to sign in with your Google account, Julie.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you very much for that. You now have a free cloud account. Fantastic. All right. So let's see if that works. Yes.
She's doing me a favor right now.
It's looking for you. It wants your face.
Again?
Guys, this is AI technology. AI technology is going to scan her face to make sure it matches to what's in store, right? I have a big problem giving up my biometrics personally. Did it recognize you? It said couldn't recognize you. Well, you know what? We can move over to a different one, and I can sign it under one of my accounts. I don't know. There it is. So, gotcha. I want y'all to notice that this technology is not perfect. Okay? And this is interesting, okay, because I read an article earlier this week that something like 40% of all companies are now using AI assistants for job interviews. So this is going to matter to y'all in the future, okay, being able to interact with your computer in this way. It's okay. Yeah, we'll just, I'll go over and sign in to maybe Grok. I think I can use that one without.
You guys were also talking about like jobs and all that good stuff. Well, she was talking about how I'm from Saudi Daisy, right outside of Chattanooga, and we have the good old TVA, and they're in Georgia, Tennessee, and I believe part of Alabama as well. And the amount of jobs that they've created for people who live in Saudi Daisy is insurmountable. I mean, a lot of our neighbors work at the plants. It's always, and when I first moved there, I was like, oh, that's a nuclear plant? You know, I'm used to being in Florida where I'm like, why are there evacuation routes? And in Florida, it means there's a hurricane, right? And but there, it was for that, and that scared me at first. But then when I learned more about it, and all the jobs, the electricians, the trade jobs, and all that good stuff, that you can come out of school making great money. So it provides jobs, and they do it in a very clean way. And it's actually helped the 1996 Olympics was TVA by using the Ocoee, right?
Yep.
River, and creating the rapids where you go whitewater rafting all the time. And so also think about how it brings jobs to your community that's very needed, and the remote working as well that's coming across.
Yep. All right. So, did I turn it off? Yep. All right. So we're on Grok now, and let's see here. We don't have to do that. So I said I need you to tutor me in 10th to 12th grade chemistry. And first it gave me a structure here, okay? It said there is a typical progression of what you learn in chemistry. So it starts with the introduction and basics, and then atomic structure and periodic table. It goes all the way down through advanced topics like redox and electrochemistry and organic chemistry. Any of y'all doing that? No? So if there's one in here that you're having problems with, like the kinetic molecular theory, right? You can say, I need help with that. and it will start tutoring you, okay, in that subject. I have two younger, a niece and a nephew that's little with me. One's 17, she's a senior. The other one's 13, he's in 8th, 9th grade. He's having a horrible time with math. And mom doesn't understand Comic Core. She's a Gen Xer, and we grew up on 10 days. I don't know if I know what any of that means, but some people do. And she was getting really frustrated because she can't find a tutor for him. Okay? I said, hey, AI can be his tutor. And it can break this stuff down for him on any level he needs. So you can come in here and say, I need help with the kinetic molecular theory. And it can explain it all. And you read it and you go, I have no idea what you just said. Tell it that, and it'll break it down even more until you get it. It will help you understand content that you can't get help with anywhere else. It's brilliant. Are y'all having to write papers and stuff this year? Yeah? You can throw your idea in and get help with an outline. It's great at building outlines. It's great at brainstorming. You have a science project coming up and you have a little bit of an idea sparkle in your head. I want to try to do this. Talk about it with your favorite AI agent, and it will help you build and expand on that. And by the end of it, you're going to be like, wow, that's pretty awesome. I can do that. There are features in AI where you can send these threads directly to your teachers to show them how you're working with AI. Okay? There's no excuse for not doing it right. But all I did was type in one prompt, y'all, and all of this came up. And I can take it as further as I need to. So, that's the thing I want y'all to try. Y'all are all in spring break, right? I know you gotta get back in the homework routine next week, okay? So try having it help you with your homework, okay? And we're going to get back into the presentation because I got something I want to talk to y'all about as far as that is concerned. And this is sometimes when you're, let's go back in full screen. Oh, go back. Okay, hold on. Sometimes when you're working with your homework, it's going to say, I need to see what you're working on. Okay, so you can take pictures of your chapter, part of a chapter you don't understand, and upload it, and say, please explain this to me, it makes no sense. You can upload a copy of your homework problem and say, I cannot figure out how to work with this, where do I start? And it will. It'll show you where to start without doing the work for you. It will teach you. Okay? And I want you guys to start doing that. Okay, so when you have ideas, when you're trying to get organized in things, you can use this. This is what AI is really, really good at. Okay? How many of you guys struggle with time management? AI can build a schedule for you. You can put in, I'm at school from 8 to 3, I have band practice at what time, I have softball practice or basketball practice or volleyball practice at this time, I go to church at this time on Wednesday night, I do this on Saturday mornings, find me time to study, and it will. My entire day is organized that day. All you gotta do is ask. Okay? You can do other things like budget. Y'all ever thought about that? Is this something that's being taught in schools these days? They're teaching y'all finances and stuff? Good. If you're having trouble with that, or with financial planning, or starting a savings account, you can have AI help you with that. Tell it how much you get for an allowance, or if you're working and how much you get, what you want to do with that money. It can help you. You can save up for this in 4 months if you save this much. You know, so it can show you how to save and how to balance and how to work that budget. There are other life skills, and tell me if y'all are getting taught these, okay? Y'all said you're getting taught financial literacy, right? What about career navigation for when you get out of high school? Y'all get taught that? Fantastic. What about, and you said no to time management? Okay. I would encourage y'all to use the AI for that. I mean, it's very, very simple, okay? It's helping me manage my time. Okay? That's all you gotta start with. It'll ask you some questions, you answer those, and it'll give you a schedule. And then when you have other stuff come up during the week, you can say, hey, add this in, and it will. And you can ask it every day when I come on here, if I prompt you to give me my schedule for the day, will you do that? They'll say, yeah. I'll set a reminder every day if you want me to. I'll send a notification from your browser and tell you every day if you want me to. It's kind of cool what they can do these days. We've talked about the hallucinations and how everything can be wrong, okay? You have to understand that any type of computer programming also comes with an ingrained bias. Do y'all know what that means? It means that it's going to automatically lean one way or the other on certain topics, okay? And I'm always very concerned about this. So I like to ask them, what do you base your ethics on? What are your biases based on? And it'll tell me things like societal norms. Do y'all know what societal norms are? Everything's a change at the whim of society. Okay? AI is going to be biased because it's built by humans who are inherently biased. You can never say it's unbiased. Don't ever let anybody tell you it's not, okay? So, this is my big point. And I've been saying this to people across the state and across this country for the last 3.5 years. A couple of years from now, society's going to look back at us, and they're going to judge us on how we react to this technology. Y'all are the foundation. You're the ones that are going to go through the rest of your life watching this technology grow and change the same way I watched computers go from an entire room to wearing one on my wrist. That's going to be your history. That's going to be your future. How are people going to judge how you handle this technology now? How are people 50 years from now going to look back and see how we reacted as a society to this technology? We have the opportunity now, okay, to do what's good for us, to do what's good for this society, to do what's good for this planet. This technology is not going away. We're not putting this genie back in the bottle, ever. It's like the internet. It's like cell phones. It's here to stay. Okay? Let's be the group that uses it ethically and responsibly and goes beyond that, and we teach our family and our friends and everybody else we know how to do that as well. Okay? I'm serious about this because we will be judged. And if you care anything about the kind of legacy you're leaving, and that started the moment you breathe your first breath, you started building your legacy. You know, let this be something you're gonna take a stand on because it's worth it. Okay? And I would say that lightly. I'll just share a little bit right here. Maybe appropriate, maybe inappropriate, but I'm a preacher's daughter. I grew up in the church, and maybe some of you may have, and some of you don't. I look at this stuff through a totally different lens than most people. I see how it affects us ethically and morally and what it can do to us if we choose to use it wrong. You know, and I see an opportunity, like I said, because when it comes down to it, AI is a tool. Just like a hammer, just like a screwdriver. And it's up to us on how we're going to use it. And I want y'all to use it. Thank you.